Alfred Schaffer's poem, "My faith has a shape that I can pick up with both hands," isn't your typical poem about religion. It's a poem you can feel. It's a poem you can almost smell. It makes you think about what you believe. Schaffer uses simple, everyday things to explore what faith really is. He talks about faith like it's a real thing, something you can touch and hold. Schaffer's words create a world you can walk right into. He talks about how a pillow feels against your cheek. He describes the sounds of the city at night. These little details make the poem feel real. You're there with him in the room, experiencing it all. This poem is a journey inside yourself. Schaffer invites you to think about your own beliefs. What does your faith feel like? What does it look like? Alfred Schaffer didn't always want to be a poet. Born to an Arab mom and a Dutch dad, he loved music and sports. But poetry found him. It became his way of understanding the world around him. Schaffer comes from a mix of cultures and experiences. He grew up in The Hague, studied in Cape Town, and now lives in South Africa. All that moving around shows up in his writing. He writes about who we are. He writes about belonging. He writes about looking for what life means. Schaffer's poetry is known for being honest. He talks about tough things. He writes about love, sadness, and the struggles of having faith. And he does it in a way that feels real and makes you think. In "My faith has a shape that I can pick up with both hands," Schaffer uses details you can almost feel and touch to explore faith. He writes about lying in bed with his face in the pillow. He can hear the city outside. These details make it feel personal, like you're right there with him. The poem also explores the idea of connecting with others. The speaker tries to wake someone up. He's not sure if they're real or just in his head. This shows how fragile connections can be. We want them, but they can be hard to find. Schaffer uses simple words so the poem is easy to read, but there's a lot going on beneath the surface. The poem makes us think about what we believe in. What do we put our faith in? And how do those beliefs change our lives? Alfred Schaffer's poetry talks about what it means to be human. He writes about love, loss, and the search for meaning. These are things that speak to all kinds of people. His work reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles. Because Schaffer comes from so many different backgrounds, his writing has a special point of view. He writes about identity and belonging in a way that feels both personal and relatable to everyone. His poems remind us that our differences are what make us special. Schaffer's poetry is a gift. It's a gift of honesty, vulnerability, and understanding. In a world that often feels confusing and scary, his words offer hope and connection. His poetry reminds us that even when things are dark, there's always beauty to be found. If you enjoyed this exploration of Alfred Schaffer's work, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more literary journeys.